Visit gregband.com for more home improvement tips. If you're planning on remodeling anything in your house, you need to start with a budget. I know that doesn't make any sense. You should just build something, pay the contractor whatever he wants, and go from there. But that's not the best way to do it. If you are planning on building a room addition and you get a couple of estimates and you finally hammer down one estimate, and it's going to cost you about $45,000 for the room addition you want. You go to the bank and you're going to finance the project. Let's just say that the bank comes up with a loan package for 10 years. It's going to cost you another $350 a month. And now's when you got to stop and think, can you afford to make these payments? A lot of people don't even think about this stuff. $45,000, that's not that much money. Our car costs $42,000. Let's do it. Wait a minute here. If you don't have the money, you don't need to remodel. You don't need it, nothing. Don't do it. If you can afford to, go ahead. I don't know how many people I've personally worked for that I didn't realize until I was about halfway into the project that they probably shouldn't have done the job. They can't afford it. Again, this has happened more than once. You really need to figure out if you can afford to do the project or if you can't. And this is simple math. If you're gonna figure it out, and again, if you really want to do the room addition, you're going to figure out, you're going to get a little creative, you're going to be able to figure out a way to make it happen. That's not the best way. Take a practical stance on this. If you create a budget for your living expenses, and you realize right now you can't afford to spend any more money, that ought to tell you you're not going to be able to put your room addition on. Don't let someone convince you that by putting the room addition on, you're adding the value onto the house. You're going to get all of your money back eventually. Don't fall into that trap, because you're not going to be living in the house if you can't make the payments. Let's start there. If you can afford to, you work out a budget, figure out all your car payments, living expenses, your house payment, what it's actually going to cost, what it actually costs you to live. Now we can go from here. If you have extra money, let's just say that you've been putting away an extra $1,000 a month into the bank for saving. You're trying to save this money, and you've been doing it consistently for a couple of years now. If you have this, if this is what you're doing right now, there's a good chance that you will be able to afford a $300 or $400 a month payment without changing your lifestyle a lot. If you can't, don't do it. If you can, make the decisions up to yours, but give it some thought. I wouldn't be making these videos if I didn't think they were going to be helpful. Again, these videos are made from my personal experience working in the construction industry for over 30 years. Trust me, start with a budget. Figure out what you can and can't afford to pay, and go from there. Make an educated decision. Don't make a decision based on your emotions. I just want the room addition. Here are some more websites you can visit for great tips on home remodeling and construction.